Hello, and welcome to today's online discussion. I'm Erica Holloway, National Spokesperson for the Speaker Education Project, a nonpartisan nonprofit organization dedicated to educating the public on the role of the Speaker of the House. Joining me today is Bill Haney. He's here representing the Joe Runyon campaign in New Jersey's 3rd District. Thanks for joining us, Bill.
Thank you for the opportunity.
And we have in San Diego, Democrat operative Chris Crotty, a well-heeled political operative who owns Crotty Consulting. Welcome and thank you for joining us today, Chris.
Thanks for having me, Erica.
All right, in order to keep the conversation clipping along, I'm going to give each of you about a minute to respond to each question. And if you're running a little long, I'll try to give you a cue. All right. As you're both aware, the Speaker of the House holds an important role in a vital office in setting national legislative agenda. Who do you think would be the best to lead the House in 2011 and why? And we'll start with Bill.
Well, I think the person best qualified to lead the Speaker of the House currently from the Republican side is Paul Ryan. I think that Paul has a substantial understanding of the budget issues, has made a name for himself nationally, certainly held his head high during the debate about national health care, rebutting the president's arguments and those who wrote or claimed to have written the health care bill. And I think that he has the respect of a lot of conservatives throughout the country. His record as a legislator, I think, is very strong, and he has a firm grasp of the legislative process. I really think that Paul Ryan would make a terrific speaker. But as a statesperson, I think that someone the stature of a Bill Bennett, perhaps, would be an excellent choice. He has a firm and deep grasp of constitutional history, the history of this country. He has an international reputation. He understands the role of government and how it should operate in the lives of the citizens of this country, and would really make an impact on how the business is conducted throughout the sessions of Congress.
Okay, Chris, over to you. Some of the qualities that Bill brought up there, being a statesperson, having a good grasp of the Constitution. Who do you think would be the best person to lead the Speaker of the House, and do you think that they should have the same qualities that Bill mentioned?
I do, in fact, believe that the next speaker should have a number of those qualities, but I think the quality that is most important is the ability to work with your party and work with be able to reach across the aisle and to achieve consensus on the really crucial issues that are facing the United States these days, and the first and foremost of which is jobs in the economy. And I think that whoever can work most closely with the president and the Senate in creating and pushing through the Congress a comprehensive economic recovery and jobs bill is whoever the person is would be the best person for Speaker.
Okay, Bill, over to you. Let's talk about the economy. It brings up a good point. You mentioned the two people that you would choose for Speaker. How do you see one or both of those people working with the White House in order to address the economic impacts that are being felt around the country and creating jobs and stimulating economic growth?
Well, I think that Paul Ryan has the capacity to certainly join the debate and manage the team from the Republican side, from the conservatives' point of view. I think that Ryan is smart enough to work well with the Democrats who will take their seats after the midterm elections. I think that Ryan is a formed speaker or potential speaker because he has a good following and a strong reputation, I think, on both sides of the aisle. I'm not really certain that the Democrats who will remain in the House after this midterm would find him to be the person that they would want to have as a speaker. On the other hand, I think Bill Bennett has the type of reputation, the skill of a true statesman to be able to recognize the agenda that is needed to be forged as we go into 2011, 2012. As a consequence, I think that the issues of the economy and jobs is everyone will agree are the single two biggest issues, and learning how to manage those issues certainly is going to be the tall task for whomever is the Speaker of the House. I think that there are other things that contribute to where we find ourselves today, and that certainly has to do with spending, the consideration of national health care and whether or not national health care remains a part of our economy, the reining in of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac and managing the mortgage crisis. I think that there are a whole host of issues that are facing our country, and the people who assume the leadership role need to have a very deep sense of patience, a deep sense of trust built between themselves, the Congress, and the people of the country, and it will require a lot of statescraft on the part of whomever does fill that role.
Okay, and I have a question here from David Burton online, and he wanted to know if Jon Runyan also supports Paul Ryan.
Jon Runyan hasn't made a specific choice with regard to the person who will fill that position. John has stated on several occasions that he will make a vote based upon the situation when he arrives in Congress.
Okay. Now, moving on, Chris, you brought up the economy, and you said that basically what we're going to be looking at is job creation. What are some of the other issues that you think are going to be top concerns that are going to be facing this Congress in 2011?
Well, I think one of the more important things is related to the economy, but it is whether or not to extend the Bush tax cuts for the wealthy, and to assure that tax cuts do go forward for the rest of us, the folks in the middle class. We're not going to recover from this global economic meltdown until working people are back on their feet and can start putting food on the table and spending a few dollars and get the economy moving forward again.
Okay, and over to you, Bill. What do you think is going to be the top concern going into this next cycle, and what do you think the Republicans are going to be pushing forward if they take the House?
Well, I think it's a matter of when they take the House as opposed to if they take the House, and I think that the single biggest concern, as noted in our conversation, a consistent theme in the national conversation, is jobs, is the economy, and the question of how you get that rolling. I think that the single biggest effort that the Republicans will have will be reining in the spending on a national level. There are a multitude of programs and cuts that can be made. I don't have the numbers at my fingertips right now, but there are Ryan in particular has a roadmap that he has been developing over the past several months, 6 or 9 months, that indicates specific cuts, specific programs that need to be changed, some entitlements that need to be taken a look at. I think that people who are in the retirement or close to retirement are going to have to make considerations about what we will have to change to make the process of energizing our economy once again. And that includes things like whether or not we increase the retirement age to 67, full retirement, or whether or not those who are currently obtaining Social Security benefits face a reduction or a cost of living allowance that is not included over a certain period of time. There are a variety of topics that are on the table, and nothing should be taken off the table.
Okay, and one last question for Chris, because I'm pretty sure I know how Bill will answer this question, but this comes from Jeff online. He says, why have Democratic candidates been so reluctant to declare their support for Nancy Pelosi? We've seen some commercials going on across the country, people trying to distance themselves. What do you think the impetus is for that and the strategy behind it?
Well, I think you have to go back and look at the strategy of Republicans nationally that have been painting Nancy in quite an unfavorable light, and with all the money that's being spent on the Republican side to demonize her, you can't help but see some of the Democrats moving away for the purpose of securing re-election. I think also, there is, it wouldn't have been as effective as it has been had there not been a kernel of truth. I think that, Nancy hasn't been the easiest person with whom to get along. She never has been. But she has always done what she felt is in the best interest of the country and the best interest of the residents. So, it's a part of the fact that she's been there for a while. It's part of the fact that she's been speaker when the Republicans have refused to negotiate or move anywhere or do anything but say no. And it's partly her frustration and occasionally taking that out on the wrong person that has led to this situation. But I can assure you that regardless, when we return in November for the interim session, and when we come back in January, the Democrats will still be in control of the House, and and then we'll decide who our speaker is going to be going forward.
All right. Well, with that, I want to thank my guests. First, Bill Haney in New Jersey, working on Joe Runyon's campaign, Republican for New Jersey's 3rd District. Thank you, Bill, for joining us.
Thank you for the opportunity.
And Chris, thank you for your time, Democratic political operative and owner of Crowdy Consulting in San Diego. Thank you, Chris.
Thanks very much for having me.
I'm Erica Holloway, National Spokesperson for the Speaker Education Project. To learn more about us, visit us online at speakereducationproject.com, and be sure to cast your vote for Speaker of the House. Thank you for joining us.